Hey guys, Patrick here. Today we're going to be looking at these brakes right here. What we're going to do is we're going to be measuring out the rotor here, so that way we can tell how thin we can go when we go to resurface it. We're going to take our lowest point on here, if there was any grooves or it was warped. I'm going to take a look at that. We're going to look at the width of the brake pads with this tool right here. And then what we're going to do is we're going to first take this plate off. What you're going to want to do is you're going to want to be careful of the mechanism in the back connected to the caliper. That's the emergency brake. And you're going to watch the spring back here and the cable that it's connected to that runs right under here. We're going to first get this plate off right here that you can see. For the purpose of this video, I already got the bolts already loosened off. And do that. And a lot of the time you're going to want to be careful with this, because this will usually just be stuck on there. What you can do is you can take a flathead screwdriver, put it in here, and you want to be careful where you put it. You don't want to mess up the hardware that's set where the brake pad's sitting there. And you don't want to mess up the rotor. Rotor too bad. What we're going to do is pry this off a little bit. Now that we got that off, right there, what we're going to use is we're going to use a hanger right here. We're going to put this through there, and we're going to hang it up here, so that way there's no chance of it falling. You don't want to put extra stress on the hydraulic line that's in the back for the brake fluid, or this line right here for the cable. Now that that's off, we can slide the pads out. Right, here's the front of the rear. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our tool here, and what we're going to do is, I guess we're going to start off at 8. It looks a little bit thicker. And what we're going to do is we're going to use this and set it right up against there and take a look at where it sits in retrospect. So it's a little bit smaller than an 8mm. What we're going to go down to is we're going to go check a 6. And it is flush with the pad. And these are at 6mm. They're still okay, even though they're in the yellow caution. I would not recommend anything new quite yet. I would just let the customer be aware and tell my supervisor, mark it down in the inspection. Sorry. And move on from there. Sorry. What we're going to do is we're going to take the pads off now. What we're going to do now, so I'm going to cut real quick, and we're going to take the caliper mounting bracket here off, and then we're going to get this off here. So I'll see you guys in just a second. Real quick, what we're going to do here, why we're taking this off right now, is because this dust plate back here and this heat shield, this is interfering with a good measurement anywhere and all the way around this rotor. So what we have to do is we're going to have to take it off that way, because this right here, sorry, this micrometer won't fit anywhere nicely in between here, anywhere up and along through here. That'll also give us a feeling for like how it's looking behind there. We could even take this grease fitting off. Not going to take it off, and we'll show you the back side of this rotor too. See you guys in a second. So now that we got this off right here, we got the bolts right here, we got the mount right here. Set those aside. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take a Sharpie marker, and I'm just going to mark here so that way I know where to line up the studs, because a lot of times when you resurface these rotors right here, you don't want to mess up the perfect alignment. If you do an on car, if you do an off car, you want to line up where it came from and where it's going to. So we want to line up this stud with this line right here when we go to put it back on. And if we're ever so lucky it'll come right off right as soon as we take these two screws out here. Let me grab that from the side. And try and break these off. Alright, those are pretty rusted on. Let me go grab some penetrating oil and some brake cleaner and we'll be right back. Okay, now, so in this case, we just tried to get these off. Nothing we're doing is working to get these off. These could be very well rusted in there. We don't want them to break or have that liability. So what you're going to first off want to do is you're going to want to tell your instructor or your supervisor rather, and you're going to want to notify them that that's not coming off. So for in this case, we're still going to want to measure this right now. So we have this gap here and it spins. In just a second, I'll try and get back there to show you the back end of this. It's not the cleanest. I would definitely recommend a clean, and yeah, this is just falling apart back here. Definitely recommend a clean at least for service if they're not going to do anything break and resurface wise. It'd just be better off for them having it clean, knowing that they got clean surfaces, they got clean components back here, and nothing's going to happen. Alright, so what we're going to do next is we're going to take this right here, take the micrometer out. What we're going to want to do is we're going to want to get it down to the point it's going to touch in here. You're going to want to measure from multiple places too. So what you're going to do is you're going to slide this back and forth and try and find the lowest point. Seems to be right there. We're going to get that flush right there, and we're going to take our reading right there. Alright, so right now I'm reading 0.350. So right now we're sitting at 395 thousandths. We're going to spin it and we're going to take another measurement. Find this point, lowest point. Measure it from multiple places. Right there is at 0.352, so 352 thousandths. Get a little bit of variation, but it's not bad enough beyond manufacturer specifications. So right there we have right there is 0.340. Oh, sorry. That would have been 3.45. Sorry, 0.345. So it's checking out. Major variation in how it looks. Doesn't look warped. There's no scratches on it. There's no deep creases in it. Looks pretty good right now. Alright. So now at this point, I would just write down on the inspection form that I have that it checks out here. There's not too much with that needs. There's nothing wrong with this. Doesn't need to be resurfaced. The brakes are good. All the components are okay. It'd fill it out and it would check itself out. I'm going to put this back together. I hope that helped. I'll see you guys in the next video.